Breaking right now on Morning News Now, new developments in the investigation into Nancy Guthrie's disappearance. Authorities say gloves found 2 miles from Guthrie's Arizona home showed no match in the FBI's DNA database. But the local sheriff says new clues seen in surveillance video and partial DNA could lead to a break in the case.
As long as we have the ability to chase a lead, it's not cold. And we have thousands of leads we're looking at. We're going to find Nancy, and we're going to find who did this.
We'll bring you an update from Tucson. Also this morning, signs of progress overseas as the U.S. enters day 2 of peace talks between Russia and Ukraine. Meanwhile, top Trump envoys touting some success in nuclear negotiations with Iran. And closer to home, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem under fire over her use of Coast Guard resources. We'll take you to Washington. Developing this morning, emergency on the West Coast. Rescue crews in Northern California searching for several backcountry skiers missing after an avalanche. This as a winter storm slams other parts of the state with heavy rain and flash flooding. We'll show you the damage. And a strong showing from Team USA at the Winter Olympics. This morning, star skier Michaela Schifrin going for gold in her final event of the Games. Plus, top finishes yesterday for Team USA after incredible performances on the ice and in the air. But of course, there have been setbacks with some of the top athletes falling short. We're going to unpack the pressures of competing at such a high level.
We'll be chatting with another former Olympian who knows what it's like to feel that pressure coming up a little bit later. Good morning. Good to have you with us. I'm Joe Fryer.
And I'm Christine Romans in for Savannah this morning. We begin this morning with another development in the search for Nancy Guthrie. Investigators say that DNA evidence from a glove that was found near Nancy's home did not turn up a match in the federal criminal database. The glove appeared to be similar to the ones worn by the suspect seen here on Nancy's surveillance camera the night she disappeared.
Nancy is the mother of our NBC News colleague, Savannah Guthrie. She has now been missing for 2.5 weeks. Even though there was no big break with the DNA, Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos tells NBC News the case is far from being cold.
At what point does this become a cold case?
When we run out of leads. And as long as we have the ability to chase a lead, it's not cold. And we have thousands of leads we're looking at, and a dedicated team of literally hundreds of officers and agents from across the state and this country. We're not going to give up. Mm-hmm. We're going to find Nancy, and we're going to find who did this.
Former FBI hostage negotiator Chip Massey is here to help us break down the latest in the investigation. First, let's go to NBC News correspondent Liz Kreutz for the latest on the search from Tucson. Liz, good morning.
Well, hi there. Good morning. Well, today marks day 18 of this search. The sheriff tells me that with thousands of tips pouring in, this case is nowhere near going cold. He says that investigators right now are really zeroing in on the DNA found at the home. He was pretty dismissive of the DNA found on the glove, or that glove found 2 miles away, saying that the DNA was not a match with their national database and did not match the DNA found at the home. He said what he's much more focused on is the DNA from the house, which he does say could be the suspects. He says they're now going to turn to genetic genealogy as one of the ways to try to figure out who this person might be or who that DNA belongs to. Meanwhile, we are also learning about some of the other things that investigators are kind of keying in on. One of them is what the sheriff describes as a very unique gun holster that the suspect was wearing. He says that investigators have been taking a picture of that holster and going to different gun shops in the area, asking if anyone recognizes it or knows who may have purchased that gun holster. And NBC also spoke to one local gun shop owner who says that investigators came to his shop with a list of about 24 names and photos asking if they had sold any guns to any of those people. Another thing that the sheriff talked about and acknowledged is that if you look at the surveillance video and you look at it slowly and you kind of screenshot it, you can see that it appears some kind of ring, maybe a signet ring, is showing through the suspect's glove. And he acknowledged that he has seen it and he has passed that along to his investigators to look at. Just one more potential identifying factor about this suspect. Meanwhile, he does say that Google is still, more than a week later since that surveillance video was released, that they are still trying to recover more potential video from Nancy's Nest cameras. He says it's a really complicated process and describes that as like peeling back layers of paint. But he says Google is just one of several companies stepping in to help, and that one of the companies that's reached out pro bono is now going to help them organize and prioritize those thousands of tips pouring in. Back to you.
All right, Liz Kreutz, thank you.
All right, let's dig deeper into some of what we just heard with former FBI hostage negotiator Chip Massey. He's the CEO of the Convincing Company. Chip, thanks for being here. Let's start with the DNA on that glove. It wasn't a hit in the national database, but still a really important clue. What can they do next with the DNA from that glove? And then how does that fit into the whole picture? There was DNA retrieved from the house as well.
Yeah, exactly. So any information, any evidence is good information, is good evidence. The fact that we have partial DNA, it's fantastic. Everything can be used to put together a case in court. Everything can be used to help eliminate or focus in on somebody like this.
Beyond the DNA, there's so many other leads that they're looking at here. There's the possible Walmart purchases. There's the search for the pacemaker signal. There's that unique gun holster. We both just had a reaction to that idea that maybe there's a ring underneath that glove. Anything stand out to you as something that could be especially promising or fruitful, or is it all of these things and that they eventually help to paint a broader picture here?
Exactly. And one of the things that they're zeroing in on, they're going to these gun shops. We have evidence through that video that this guy comes in with a gun, and he's wearing a very awkward holster. It's up on the screen now. So they're going to the local gun shops, and they have names. Now, that's fascinating, right? Because these names didn't come from anywhere. They didn't pull them out of the earth, sky. So they have people, and they're trying to place them together. So they go to the gun shops, and they say, do you recognize this weapon? Is there, can we see the names of the people that purchased? And that holster. Very unusual. Again, ill-fitting for the task. Talk about Walmart. Walmart, when they're going through these tapes, Walmart has some of the most advanced surveillance systems that are out there. In any Walmart store, they have between 40 to 100 cameras in there. Now, those cameras aren't just for loss prevention. They're also marketing. They're also looking at consumer behavior, where people linger, what they're looking at, what they're going back to. So imagine this. Our guy, this captor, in a Walmart, looking for a backpack, looking for the clothes that he's wearing. At some point, those things start to connect. We have gun shops where they have to keep records of firearms bought, and we have Walmart now that's able to go through all these records of evidence.
I know it's tantalizing that we know that Walmart was where these came from. Walmart is also the biggest seller of everything in this country, so there's a lot of material to go through there, and it's been 18 days. What does that tell you in your experience about where we go from here? I mean, the sheriff says they're fielding tens of thousands of tips. They haven't identified a leading theory of motive or what happened here. As more time goes on, what does that say to you?
Well, as time goes on, the pressure again goes to the captor. This is where things happen. This, that amygdala hijack. Every day that goes by, every hour, every minute, where he sees that billboard that says, do you know this individual? That picture in that photo, again, of that ring with the raised embossed, that could also be another trigger for this, is that he's going to see that. He's going to go, people know that I wear a ring like this. Raised, right? It could be another psychological comfort for somebody like that. He's reaching back to a past. So there's so many different leads that they're following. It is reassuring to me that we're seeing them show up at these gun shops. Walmart's working closely together, and other private entities.
Or someone else recognizes those things. Or someone else says, hey, wait a minute, between the mask and the ring and wait, this could be somebody I know.
Just takes one person.
That's it. To call in and say, I know who this guy is.
Chip Massey, thank you so much. Always great to have you.
A series of strong winter storms is creating major problems on the West Coast this morning. Officials say the race is on to save a group of skiers buried in an avalanche in the backcountry near Lake Tahoe. 15 people reportedly went on the ski trip. 6 have been rescued so far with varying degrees of injury. In California's Sierra Mountains, more than 40 inches of snow fell in 24 hours. It created whiteout conditions and forced road closures along Interstate 80. It's all part of an atmospheric river hitting much of the West Coast, causing deadly accidents and creating dangerous conditions. As part of that same system, rain and gusty winds are expected to intensify across Southern California today. LA is preparing for a siege of wet weather that could last for days. An evacuation warning is in effect for several neighborhoods in the city. Officials warning of possible damaging winds and mudslides.
Now let's get a check on your morning news now weather with NBC meteorologist Melissa McGee. She's been keeping a close eye on that storm out west for us. Melissa, good morning.
And good morning, everyone. That West Coast storm does continue. So a lot of that beneficial snow moving out across areas in the Great Basin and the Rockies. California gets a bit of a break today with just a few scattered showers across the region. But a new surge of energy is going to move in as we head out on our Thursday. So rain and snow will blast California once again tomorrow. Localized flooding is a big concern, making travel fairly difficult across that area. In terms of rainfall amounts up and down the coast, we could find an additional 1/4 of an inch to about an inch of rainfall across the region. Now, as we move across the highest elevation, we can find an additional 4 to 8 feet of snow for areas across the Sierra Mountain Range. So we'll keep you posted with that. The storm system riding across the northern tier, umbrellas and shovels, that's what you're going to need today as the stationary front continues to move on through, making for slippery spots from Minnesota all the way over into Massachusetts. So let's talk about the snowfall that will be on the way across portions of the northern Great Lakes. You can see the purple here. That's an indication of snowfall amounts up to 8 inches, little less as we move across areas in upstate New York and central sections of New England. Another day with record highs across much of the plains in the southeast. Dallas today, mild for many and at 77 degrees for you. St. Louis and at 71 degrees. Jet stream builds all the way up to the north, allowing for that warmth to work its way into much of the southeast. Atlanta, 77 degrees tomorrow. We've got 68 in Roanoke, Virginia. We'll start to cool off, though, across the Ohio Valley and the Northeast. Check out Cleveland for the start of your weekend. You'll have a high temperature of 41, but you'll dip down to 29. Back to work next Monday. And for the Northeast, Saturday, we'll start it out at 46 degrees, down to 39 on Sunday. And on Monday, that high temperature, just 36. That's a look at your national weather. Now back to you.
All right, Melissa, thank you.
U.S. officials say they are making progress after another round of nuclear talks with Iran. Iranian officials are echoing that sentiment, but both sides say more work must be done to head off any kind of confrontation. All this as separate talks aimed at ending the Russia-Ukraine war wrapped up earlier this morning in Geneva. NBC News Washington correspondent Alice Barr has the latest on all of this. Alice, good morning.
Good morning, Joe. Both sides confirmed the Ukraine talks have now wrapped after about 2 hours today, a full day yesterday. A top Russian official called them difficult but businesslike and said the next meeting will take place soon. President Trump wants these fierce foes to come to agreement somehow by June.
Negotiators back at the table for a second day of talks between Russia and Ukraine. U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff writing day one of U.S. mediated discussions yielded meaningful progress toward a peace deal, 1 week before the 4-year mark of Russia's full-scale invasion. Ahead of the talks, President Trump urged Ukraine to compromise.
Ukraine better come to the table fast.
While a pair of Democratic senators traveled to Kyiv pressing for ironclad security guarantees against future Russian attacks.
Ukraine needs and deserves a guarantee from the United States, not just European powers.
Witkoff and the president's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, also joining negotiations Tuesday on a deal to curb Iran's nuclear program. The top Iranian diplomat citing good progress on the path toward an agreement, but cautioning they will not reach it quickly, while Vice President J.D. Vance pointed to roadblocks.
The president has set some red lines that the Iranians are not yet willing to actually acknowledge and work through. So we're going to keep on working it.
President Trump has signaled military action is an option if there's no deal to guarantee Iran won't get a nuclear weapon. The president ordered a second U.S. aircraft carrier to the region before the negotiations and suggested regime change might be the best thing that could happen. Iran has threatened retaliation for any attack, and the supreme leader now says any attempt to take down his government would fail.
Back on Ukraine, territory and security guarantees remain the central issues. And while Russia has shown no sign of backing off its demands, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said over the weekend he felt his country was under pressure to compromise from the United States in ways he does not see publicly being exerted against Russia. Back to you, Joe.
All right, Alice, thank you.
All right, there were some terrifying moments on Capitol Hill yesterday when police say an 18-year-old man rushed toward the Capitol with a loaded shotgun. He was quickly arrested and is now facing multiple charges.
Police say the suspect parked near the west front of the Capitol building, got out of his car with that shotgun. He was confronted by officers, ordered to drop the gun, and after complying, was taken into custody.
NBC News political reporter Megan Lebowitz joins us now with more on this. So, Megan, walk us through how this incident unfolded yesterday.
Yeah, it was a really scary scene that unfolded midday yesterday when the man with the gun ran toward the Capitol. Thankfully, no one was hurt. Police were able to take him into custody. I want you to take a listen to how Police Chief Michael Sullivan described how the situation went down.
We had a person exit that vehicle with a shotgun and begin running towards the Capitol. This individual was challenged by United States Capitol police officers and ordered to drop the weapon, which he did comply with. He laid down the weapon and then laid down on the ground and was taken into custody.
Now, I do want to note that Congress was not in session yesterday when this unfolded, but even when lawmakers aren't in the building, there are still plenty of staffers around, so still a very serious security situation, guys.
So the suspect, 18 years old, what more are we learning about him and the charges that he now faces?
Yeah, he's an 18-year-old from Georgia. That's how police identified him. And he's now facing several criminal charges, things like carrying a rifle without a license, having an unregistered firearm, and unregistered ammunition. Now, police also discovered that he had other equipment on him as well. Take a listen to what they found.
This individual had a tactical vest on. He also had tactical gloves. And when we looked in the vehicle, he had a Kevlar helmet and a gas mask in the vehicle. We know where the vehicle was registered to, which was not to him. He had multiple addresses, so we're trying to chase down where he actually came from.
So as you heard, they're still trying to determine more information about the suspect, and they did say yesterday as well that they were trying to determine the suspect's motive because he had not previously been on file with the Capitol Police here.
So, Megan, we know Congress is not in session this week. There were no members present. But just how on edge are police right now, given the surge of threats we are seeing to lawmakers and with the president's State of the Union just coming up next week?
Yeah, so security is always especially high around high-profile events like the State of the Union next week when President Trump is going to deliver that address to lawmakers. But I do want to note here that police regularly train for situations to prepare for the ones like that unfolded yesterday. So Police Chief Michael Sullivan had told reporters yesterday that they have these now routine exercises on a monthly basis in different parts of the Capitol, including there was actually a training exercise just this past summer in that same location where the suspect was apprehended. So you can imagine that this training is still fresh in the officer's mind as they do this on a very regular basis here, guys.
All right, Megan, thank you so much for that.
Another challenge is surfacing for the Department of Homeland Security, which is partially shut down right now because of a fight over ICE reforms. Well, now there are new claims about Strange and Secretary Kristi Noem's relationship with the U.S. Coast Guard. The Coast Guard is overseen by DHS.
Two U.S. officials, including a past and a present Coast Guard officials, tell NBC News that Noem's leadership this past year has created a split between some rank-and-file members who have been motivated by her approach and other senior officials who view it as undercutting their more traditional mission.
NBC News senior national politics reporter Jonathan Allen has been part of the team reporting on this story. John, good to have you with us this morning. So we know DHS has spearheaded President Trump's mass deportation mandate. What decisions did DHS Secretary Noem make to sort of rattle some of these leaders in the U.S. Coast Guard?
Joe, several decisions, and let me start with this. The Coast Guard, the Department of Homeland Security, the Coast Guard referred all questions to DHS. DHS has denied some of these things that we're reporting, so I just want to put that out there. But basically what you've seen is a shift in prioritization from the Coast Guard's mission, search and rescue, things like that, training, et cetera. You've seen a shift away from those things and toward the deportation effort. So the Coast Guard has been heavily involved in that. A couple of small items here. One was an actual deprioritization message that went out to one air station in Sacramento, basically saying that immigration is the top priority and now search and rescue is much lower of a priority. Narcotics trafficking or anti-narcotics trafficking a much higher priority. And then the biggest thing that really rankled Coast Guard folks early in Noam's administration was back last year, there was a missing Coast Guardsman, somebody had gone overboard. The Coast Guard diverted some of its planes to go use in that search and rescue mission. Our sources told us that Secretary Noam then said that one of those planes, a C-130, had to return to go back to flying migrants around. It left for about an hour. Then some other planes were found and brought back. But the whole issue there was that there was a perception among folks in the Coast Guard that the Secretary was not prioritizing or putting enough emphasis on finding this person who was overboard.
How, John, is the rift between Noam and some of those senior U.S. Coast Guard officials playing out in real time, day-to-day operations? And how has the Department of Homeland Security responded to your reporting, including that morale is, quote, terrible at Coast Guard headquarters?
So, Christine, it's playing out across a number of issues. I mean, we reported on a confrontation between Corey Lewandowski, who is effectively the chief of staff at Homeland Security and very close to Secretary Noam, with a Coast Guard pilot, where the Coast Guard had failed to bring some personal items of Secretary Noam's from one plane to another. When she was switching planes, and Lewandowski tried to fire the pilot midair because he wouldn't turn around to go get those items. The pilot informed Lewandowski that if he did that, they would have to land at the nearest airport, and that the Secretary would have to wait a long time for another pilot. So that was resolved temporarily. But in terms of morale, our sources say that it's really low, a split. There are some people, again, who love what Secretary Noam is doing, some people who do not. The Coast Guard's response to this is one of calling it subjective.
Looking forward.
To be fair, it is a subjective view of these Coast Guard folks who think that morale is low. It's hard to measure morale exactly.
Right, exactly. I mean, and looking forward, is there a fear these tensions could continue as Noam continues to focus on these deportation efforts?
Absolutely. There's a fear that it is going to get worse as deportation efforts ramp up. The president has, at times said that he wants to deport millions or tens of millions of people out of the United States. The Coast Guard has become heavily involved in that. They've been involved in the effort to get people to self-deport. There's, millions and millions of dollars floating around the Coast Guard for these purposes. And so you can only expect that that's going to, where that's a tension point, it's going to ramp up. Some of the folks in the Coast Guard didn't really sign up for that. And more to the point, they really feel like some of the things that are the core mission are getting short shrift.
All right. Jonathan, good reporting. Thanks for joining us this morning. Appreciate it. Much more to come here on Morning News Now. Later this hour, a broadcast battle why CBS Late Show host Stephen Colbert is calling out his own network over an interview that never aired on TV.
Up first after the break, how Olympic pressure is taking its toll on some of Team USA's brightest stars. We'll be right back.
We're back with our ongoing coverage of the 2026 Winter Olympic Games. We're hearing more from Team USA figure skating star Ilya Malinin. Known as the Quad God, he struggled through his free skate program a few days ago, dashing his hopes of winning an individual medal. NBC News senior national correspondent Stephanie Goss sat down with Malinin to talk about the intense pressure he faced going into the competition and the support he's now receiving.
I would imagine in the last couple of days, you've been getting a lot of advice from people. Is there one thing that has helped you that you've heard from somebody?
It's really that medals don't define who you are. It's always just, what you do, how you do it, and the person you are that defines you in your own way.
Does that help you? Are you able to take that message and actually really act on it?
Yes, I definitely, felt it, and just the amount of support, the amount of love I've gotten, past few days I'm truly just blessed for all of that. It's something I honestly did not expect going into these games, but just having all of that love, support, emotion, and I just really took it at heart.
Have you needed that love and support in an entirely different way?
Honestly, it's everything that I could have wished for and everything that I wanted. That support from friends, family, fans, even people like Simone, Snoop, Tom Brady, Steph Curry, they're all just, that was just something unreal for me in that moment. That feeling is, I'm truly blessed to do what I do because in the end, you always get something from it.
When you finished your performance, you put your head in your hands. What went through your head?
It was honestly not the best, and knowing that I just finished, on the biggest stage in the world and had the skate that was probably the most unlikely skate that I thought would have happened, it was just devastating in the moment. I just felt like I let myself down. I, let the people I care about down, and I just felt really awful in the moment. But, and nevertheless, getting off, it's still always a pleasure and always a blessing for me to even be at the Olympics. So I'm still grateful for that, and I definitely, pushed all the energy, and all of us for that team event pushed everything we had into it, and it really just helped us, gain this gold medal.
Yeah. Were you surprised by how different Olympic ice was?
Really surprised. It was, caught me off guard, honestly. Just not only the ice, just that Olympic environment, that Olympic pressure, and, even all the other pressure around me going in as, the Olympic gold hopeful, or, the quad guard, as I'm named, it really just caught me off guard. And it just, all that pressure right before getting on the ice just, kind of made me collapse a little bit. So just looking at that, I just, want to understand why that happened and what I should do in the future for that to, have a different outcome.
Do you think that there are things that you have learned that you're now going to take with you?
Absolutely. There's so much I've learned throughout this Olympic experience, and it's just, I'm so grateful to be here, first of all. I think that it's, everyone has been there for me from my team. I always say that everything happens for a reason. God puts there the way he wants to put it. So I'm always taking that for granted and just knowing that, there's always something that has to be done.
The Olympics is brutal in so many ways, also because the next one is 4 years away. Can you even allow yourself at this point to think about the next Olympics?
I think I'm okay with thinking about the next Olympics because even without, no matter what the result was here, I would have still wanted to go there because I simply enjoy figure skating. I have a passion for it. I love to do what I do on the ice, and no matter the result, I'm always motivated to, come out and do better, or, just keep on skating, matter of fact.
And after the exhibition, you're going straight to Worlds, right?
Yes, I will be going back home. I have a few weeks to train, and then, straight to Worlds. And I feel like Worlds for me this year is going to be different from any other year because I want to call it the redemption competition. So I really want to go out there and skate better than I did here.
Our thanks to Stephanie Gosk for that interview. Malin, as you just heard, they're now preparing to compete at the World Figure Skating Championships in Prague next month. Women's figure skating is now in the spotlight in Milan. They kicked off yesterday with their short programs. Team USA's trio, known as the Blade Angels, all qualified for the next round, but it wasn't the start that podium favorite Amber Glenn was hoping for. She ended the night in 12th place after falling short on a triple loop, only completing a double, leaving a lot of points on the table. For more, let's bring in Olympic medalist and NBC Sports Desk reporter Adam Rippon, also co-host of the My Favorite Olympian podcast. He joins us now from Milan with more on Team USA's performance. Adam, good to have you with us and get your perspective on this. We're going to get to last night's events in a moment, but let's continue this conversation we just heard there about the pressure of competing at the Olympics, especially when you become the face of the games. We just heard from Ilya there. Amber Glenn came up short last night, putting her chance for a medal at risk. Help us understand, just what do athletes feel just before they take the ice, and how do nicknames like the Quad God, literally calling someone a god, how can that affect your mental preparation?
Listen, when it comes to the Olympic Games, I will tell you a secret. They're hard. That's it. They're just really hard. It's a really tough competition. It's for the first time these athletes know that the world is watching. And the Olympics is the reason why so many of us get involved in sports in the first place. We remember some of those iconic free skates. For me, I remember Tara Lipinski and Michelle Kwan and Nagano. That's the reason why I wanted to skate. And then when you're here, it's such a big thing. And it's so easy to just get sucked into the moment and to almost feel like above yourself. I think, like, what are the athletes going through? What are they feeling? They're probably feeling sick to their stomach, which is totally normal. And it's also, you know, it can feel like, well, why do we do this to ourselves? Which is a question that I've asked myself 100 times when I was competing. But when you finish those routines and it goes well and you've pushed through, those are the moments that you live for.
Let's get to one of those moments. Last night, Alyssa Liu had the strongest performance for Team USA, finishing in 3rd place. An American woman has not medaled in figure skating in 20 years. We keep bringing that up. What did you think of Liu's skate? Just how realistic are her chances of making the podium, maybe even winning gold?
I mean, listen, Alyssa's biggest strength is that she's completely unfazed by all of this. She has sort of like an I don't care attitude, and I'm just here and I'm just having fun. But she's a world champion. You don't become a world champion if you're just having fun and doing whatever. She's an incredible athlete. She's so focused. And when the Olympic pressure can get to the other skaters, it won't get to Alyssa. And that's her biggest strength. It's how she became a world champion. It's how she won the biggest international this season, the Grand Prix final. And it's why she's in 3rd place heading into this free skate. She's a little bit around 2 points out of the lead. If anybody makes a mistake, Alyssa Liu will be right there to pounce.
We'll all be there cheering her on. We do have to talk about Amber Glenn. I mean, it was heartbreaking watching that yesterday. She was on fire. She hit her triple axel, and then it was just one major mistake. Help us understand how something, first of all, like doubling a triple can be so catastrophic for your score. And do you feel she can regroup and have just a strong free skate?
So when it comes to the short program in figure skating, it's required to do a solo triple jump. Amber Glenn was one of only 2 women to do a triple axel, which is incredible, and a really nice triple-triple combination. And so she gets a lot of points there, which saves her. But because she doesn't do a triple, she gets no points for that double loop that she did. And you know what? Amber knows that. We all know that. It's tough. It's a tough pill to swallow. But at the end of the day, she still comes away with a score that's only 11 points out from the gold medal. Amber has this advantage of the triple axel. And this is what happens at the Olympics. I remember watching them. I remember listening to Scott Hamilton. He says crazy things happen on Olympic ice. Anything can happen. If you told me 2 weeks ago that Mikhail Shaidarov from Kazakhstan would be the gold medalist in the men's event, I wouldn't believe you. But we're at the Olympics. Anything goes.
All right. Adam Rippon, good to have you with us. We look forward to watching the rest of the women's competition coming up tomorrow. You can catch all the best Olympic action on Primetime in Milan, hosted by Mike Tirico, starting at 8 p.m. Eastern on NBC and streaming on Peacock.
Great conversation. Coming up, a renewed warning about the dangers of screen time for kids.
When we come back, we're going to break down a new study that shows a link between children's digital habits and their mental and physical health. Dr. John is here with your weekly checkup next. Stay with us. You're watching Morning News Now.
All right, we're back now with our weekly medical checkup. This morning, we're starting with another warning about kids and their screens.
Plus, intermittent fasting is a popular weight loss trend, but does it really deliver results?
NBC News medical contributor Dr. John Torres is here to help us out with that and more.
Okay, dance the morning. This is his dance. This is my roundup dance.
All right, lots to get to. Let's talk about this new study about screen time. Like this study, researchers looked at 11 and 12-year-olds and their habits and found some troubling things. What did we learn?
It was very interesting because, like you said, they looked at 11 and 12-year-olds and they looked at their screen time, meaning cell phones, video games, TV, those kinds of things. And they found out that if they had what's called problematic screen time, they end up having these issues here. And you can look at them here. High risk of depression. They had behavioral problems. They had sleep disturbances, suicidal behaviors. And if they had video game disturbances or problematic use as well, they also had issues. And so what's the bottom line here? Well, the bottom line is, this is going to be something they're going to grow up help with. This is something that they need. And so we need to make sure they use it as a tool, not as a crutch. And so doctors' orders here are essentially a couple things. First and foremost, you want to make sure that you keep an eye on what they're having there, what they're using, and have a genuine conversation with your kids. Let them know why this could be problematic, especially when they're at 11 to 12-year-old age, and saying, hey, we need to make sure that you use this appropriately. So healthy limits. It's okay to say, after a certain time you can't use them, and they really shouldn't use them before they go to sleep because that can cause sleep disturbances. And have a lot of screen-free routines they can do. You remember as kids, we used to go outside and play a lot. Well, that's a good thing to do. Go outside and play.
My mom, go outside and play.
and then watch for that problematic use. And by problematic use, I mean, issues that interfere with their life. If they're complaining about not having their phone, if they're not hanging out with friends, if they're not playing outside because of that screen time, then it's something to talk about.
All right.
From kids to older folks, we're always interested in anything about longevity, and I guess there's this new study finds that muscle strength can help older women live longer. Do they have to join a weightlifting club, or what kind of strength are we
they
talking
don't,
about
and
here?
they even found out that if it was just muscle strength training by itself, it can really help prolong their lives, and it can actually help with their mental health as well. And here's what's happening there is as we get older, we start losing muscle mass. As we start losing muscle mass, we start losing balance. And so what they found out is that with muscle training, muscle weight training, they ended up being able to live longer. They ended up having less life-changing type episodes. And so it's important that they incorporate that into their regular routines. And so what I tell patients all the time is you want to do aerobic, meaning running, that kind of activity, weight-bearing kind of things, but you also want to do weight training to keep those muscles as strong as possible. So lift weights 2 to 3 times a week. It's important that you do that. And again, it doesn't have to be a structured program. And start light and then work your way up. Focus on good form. Focus on doing things correctly so you don't hurt yourself, so you can continue to do that. The study was 63 to 99-year-olds.
Wow.
And so again, it's important that you do this throughout your life, and not just for women, men as well.
But even before that, muscle is medicine. That's what a lot of the women and my friends say. Building muscle is medicine.
Exactly, 100%.
Right.
And it builds your brain power as well.
What about intermittent fasting? Is it really the great silver bullet we think it is?
It doesn't look like it here according to this study, but other studies are contradicting it. So the full story's not out there, but this is what we call a meta-analysis. It's a study that looked at other studies, and what they found is that intermittent fasting really didn't do much more than doing nothing as far as weight loss is concerned. And even any kind of changes in life, intermittent fasting didn't seem to work. But again, this is one of those things that you see other studies saying, hey, it might work. And so my advice for people is essentially, if it works for you, great. Use it. If it doesn't work for you, and you'll know fairly quickly if it doesn't work, then go ahead and choose a realistic plan. Choose something else that will work for you, because the important thing is that healthy diet. And I tell people all the time, think about what your mom always told you. That fruits and vegetables, you need to slow down on your eating. You need to make sure that you enjoy your food, not just devour it, that kind of thing. And that can really help you lose that weight and maintain that health throughout your life.
The mom diet.
The mom diet.
There you go.
It's nothing better.
Moderation. And get outside and play.
Exactly.
John Torres, thank you so much.
All right, coming up, late night drama between CBS talk show host Stephen Colbert and his own network.
It all has to do with an interview that never made it to TV. We'll break down the dispute that's now gone viral next on Morning News Now.
Back now with growing tensions behind the scenes and on the air at CBS. Late show host Stephen Colbert called out his own network for the second night in a row. Here's the issue. On Monday, Colbert claimed the network blocked his interview with Texas Senate candidate James Tallarico from airing on TV out of fear of retaliation from the Federal Communications Commission. Then on Tuesday, CBS released a statement saying the show was not prohibited from airing the interview, but that network lawyers provided guidance that airing it could trigger the FCC's equal time rule. That rule requires the show give time to other candidates in the same race, but there has long been an exception to this rule for talk shows. Well, listen to what Colbert had to say last night in response to that statement from CBS.
Here's where I do want to tell the lawyers how to do their jobs. They know damn well that every word of my script last night was approved by CBS's lawyers, who, for the record, approve every script that goes on the air, whether it's about equal time or this image of frogs having sex. very specifically, and this is never, in fact, between the monologue I did last night and before I did the second act talking about this issue, I had to go backstage. I got called backstage to get more notes from these lawyers, something that had never, ever happened before. And they told us the language they wanted me to use to describe that equal time exception. And I used that language. So I don't know what this is about.
All right, Colbert's interview with Tellerico was posted on YouTube. So far, Joe, it's been viewed more than 5 million times.
So folks are seeing it. For more on this, we're joined now by senior TV editor for Variety, Brian Steinberg. Brian,
morning.
Good to have you with us. So let's start just with this relationship between CBS and Colbert. As we know, his show is set to end in May. That's a point of contention. But what do you make of this dispute now spilling out into public view like this?
I think you have a host who has no blanks left to give. He's off the air in May. He's going to do what he wants to do. CBS has prolonged it by issuing a statement the other day that could create a new chapter that Colbert can then respond to. It's an interesting situation. It is not unheard of for the host and the network to have problems over the course of their long association, but this is an unusual one.
You know, in addition to that fight with its late-night host, CBS also had news this week that Anderson Cooper, a well-known contributor to 60 Minutes, walking away from 60 after 20 years. Now, you've done some reporting on that. Is there a backstory?
Well, I think, there is a backstory, and that there's a new regime, a new management at CBS News, which is unorthodox. It is a Barry Weiss, opinion columnist, has been given oversight of all the editorial at CBS News. There have been a number of gaffes and strange mistakes and efforts to kind of tailor stories to certain worldview points. I think Anderson, who I understand really truly enjoyed the work on 60 Minutes, decided that it was not his bag anymore.
Colbert accused FCC Commissioner Brendan Carr of having, quote, partisan purposes targeting late-night shows. In a statement, then the White House called Colbert a pathetic train wreck, defending Carr, saying he's just doing his job and enforcing the rules. But that begs the question. This interview with Tellerico, would it have actually triggered the equal time rule? I mean, where do things stand right now, and what could this mean just for other shows that are on broadcast networks?
Well, there's new guidance out there from Carr that takes aim at talk shows, which are not typically news programs, but can indeed be newsy. You've seen there's an FCC probe into The View that's been unveiled recently as well. There is a concern from the administration that these shows are taking liberal talking points and liberal discussions without providing a counterbalance or a counterpoint. There is some ballast to that notion that the shows tend to go over-index on anti-Trump stuff, but at the same time, they're talk shows. They're not news programs. They can wander a little farther afield. But the guidance out there, clearly networks like CBS are nervous.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit more about that View episode. So that's basically the FCC telling The View it's debatable whether you are a talk show, right? So that would really change the equal time rules for political candidates there.
Yeah, I mean, look, The View is run by ABC News. It is not run by the entertainment division. They do tend to, focus more intently on news topics rather than, I think you can argue that Kelly Ripa does more entertainment type stuff. So, I mean, there are shifting definitions. In recent years, a lot of the late night shows and talk shows have gotten more political, focusing more heavily on politics and news headlines.
All right, Brian Steinberg, good to have you with us. More to come on this one, no doubt.
A lot happening in his beat for sure. All right, coming up, she's looking golden. A strong start this morning for star skier Michaela Schifrin in her final event in the Winter Olympics.
And he's styling in silver. When we come back, we're going to be joined by Team USA's Mac Forehand following his incredible big air finish. All the Olympic excitement next on Morning News Now.
There's the music. We're back now with the latest out of the 2026 Milan Cortina Winter Olympic Games.
Last night, Team USA's female figure skaters, known as the Blade Angels, hit the ice. They didn't finish as strong as they had hoped in the short program, with only one skater now in the top three. But some good news just moments ago, Michaela Schifrin had a textbook first run in the women's slalom.
All right, for more, let's bring in NBC News correspondent Jay Gray, who is in Milan and joins us now with the latest. Good morning, Jay. So let's start with Michaela Schifrin. How's she doing?
Christine, Joe, she is on fire on the mountain. She looked great in the first run, took the lead in the first of two times down the mountain, so they've started the second runs now. This is her event. This is what she does best, and she looks so in tune, so connected to the mountain during that run. Hopefully she can hold that first place and end up on the top of the podium. She just looks great.
That's what we all want to see right there. All right, let's talk about the women's figure skating short program last night. We talked about it a little earlier this hour, but walk us through what happened.
Yeah, a bit disappointing. Of the three skaters there, really the only one to nail it was Alyssa Liu. And she looked great, by the way. She was tremendous on the ice. She stands in third place after the short program. And if she can finish the free skate on Thursday, still in medal contention, and make it to the podium, she will be the first American in women's singles figure skating, a premier event at the Winter Games, to make the podium in 20 years. There's a lot of pressure on those young skaters, and so it was very difficult out on the ice for some. She is in a great spot right now. As we know in figure skating, though, you've got to finish the deal to take home the medal.
Hey, Jay, the U.S. men's hockey team set to take Sweden in the quarterfinals later today. How's that match looking?
Yeah, I think it's going to be their toughest match of these games. Look, the American men have gotten better each time they've been on the ice. They seem to be gelling and playing together. But they are playing a team that will provide quite a challenge. Just like the Americans and Canadians, the Swedish team is comprised entirely of NHL players. So I think you're going to have a fast ice. You're going to have an aggressive play. And remember, it'll be stepped up a notch because you win or you go home. For the losing team, their Olympic dream is over.
And Jay, we're going to talk with Mac Forehand in just a moment here, but set the stage for us. Talk about his big performance in the Big Air final.
Well, first of all, tell him he is the man. That was amazing to see in his final run. He just laid it all on the line. He refused to go home without a medal. He said he was in contention and that he wasn't going to ease up and just try and coast to the podium, and he did not. He flipped to the podium in the Big Air, completing the triple cork 2160. I'll let him explain that. You know, I know what that is, Joe and Christine, but I'm going to let him explain all of that. I could tell you this, it was certainly gnarly, and so he wins the silver. It's a great win for Team USA. I can't wait to hear your interview.
All right, Jay, great. Thank you so much, Jay. Gnarly.
Fresh off that impressive show at last night's Big Air final, let's bring in newly minted silver medalist Mac Forehand. Mac, Jay says you're gnarly. How do you feel after earning your first Olympic medal?
Yeah, it definitely feels really good. It's been a dream of mine my entire life, and to have this around my neck right now, it's really cool. Definitely really special.
It's so cool. Now, you lost the gold to Norway by just a whisper, even after an impressive third round. Some on social media are saying, you know what, you should have taken the top spot. How are you feeling? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I've definitely heard it a lot, but I think it's good for the sport of free skiing. You know, we all do this for the creativity and the love of it, and it's so cool to see these creative tricks that Tormod did win the event, and I'm hyped for him and for Matej. We're all really good friends. We traveled the world together, and it's just really cool. The level last night was off the roof. It was crazy. It was so cool to be a part of that.
We love to see all the sportsmanship and there's how close all of you are in supporting each other in this. So in the third round, you successfully completed a move. We're going to have you walk us through these moves for the novices here. It's known as a nose butter takeoff into 3 flips, 6 full rotations. Describe that to us for those who didn't see it. I mean, you say you dreamed of landing that move. How does it feel to actually pull it off?
Yeah, it was honestly kind of a joke at first between my coaches. I learned the nose butter triple cork 1980 in training a couple of days prior. And they were like, oh, it'd be kind of cool if you did this trick, but we kind of laughed about it. And then it came to that moment, and I saw the video of the 19 that I did in the first or the second run, and I knew I could do that trick. And the nose butter is like you do a 180 on the jump before you actually go off of it. So, and you're kind of buttering off the noses of your skis, like kind of rotating off of that. That's why it's called the nose butter. And that trick has never been attempted by anyone before. The 1980 has been done quite a bit, but the 2160, first time anyone's ever done it, first time I've ever done it, and no better place to do it than at the Olympics to get a medal. So it's definitely really special and really cool.
It sounds cool. It looked cool. It's way cooler than, sorry, Joe, but it's way cooler than we are.
Yeah,
You seem to be pushing the sport to exciting new limits. Any thoughts on what you're going to attempt next?
I think that's future problems for me. I think I'm going to go have a vacation for the next week and rest my body. I need it. I'm pretty sore right now.
You're from Vermont, right? So what is the plan when you get home? How does Mac Forehand relax when he brings that silver medal home?
So I actually live in Park City, Utah, so I'll go home back to Park City, and I'll go skiing for 4 or 5 days there. It's supposed to snow finally for the first time in a couple months there, so go ski some powder, have a good time, enjoy life, go hang out with my friends, and just, yeah, soak it all in. It's
That's what resting looks like,
really
going
cool
back on the mountain. Resting is skiing.
Yeah. Well, I'll go skiing for a couple of days, and then I think I'm going to try to go surfing somewhere. I need to get in the water. I'm definitely looking forward to that.
No kidding. I just have to say, Mac Forehand, by the way, is the coolest name at the Olympics. Do you hear that all the time?
I saw a video on social media the other day, and it was like, Mac Forehand sounds like a tennis player in a J.K. Rowling novel. So
it does.
I don't really know how to answer that, but it kind of sounds true to that. It sounds like a made-up name, but yeah, it's kind of funny, I guess.
Begs the question, do you play tennis?
I'm really bad at tennis. My girlfriend and I try to play a little bit, but I'm horrible. But I can play a little bit. I dabble.
But he's really good at the nose butter triple cork 1980.
Right, he's got that down.
Nice to see you, Mac Forehand. Thank you so much.
Yeah. That and some other things. Yeah, thank you guys again. Appreciate it.
No problem. And of course, you can catch all of the Olympic action on prime time in Milan starting at 8 p.m. Eastern tonight with Mike Tirico, airing on NBC and also streaming on Peacock. That is going to do it for this hour of Morning News Now.
The news continues right now. Good morning. I'm Christine Romans in for Savannah this morning.
I'm Joe Fryer. Right now on Morning News Now, DNA discovery. Nearly 3 weeks into the search for Nancy Guthrie, investigators saying DNA found at her property could belong to the suspect behind her disappearance. This is an analysis of DNA found on a glove similar to one in this surveillance video discovered 2 miles from Nancy's home. Comes up empty. We've got the latest from the Pima County Sheriff's Department on the investigation and where the case goes next. Plus, landmark social media trial. Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg will take the stand in a Los Angeles courtroom today, hoping to fend off a massive lawsuit against his company. The suit accuses social media companies Meta and YouTube of making their platforms addictive to children, the impact users are alleging it has on their mental health, and the tough question Zuckerberg could face coming up. Heated rivalry. Team USA's women's hockey team set to face off against their biggest rival, Canada, in a gold medal match tomorrow. We're talking with NBC sports analysts on what makes this team so strong as they prepare to go for gold. And Lego Master. We're going to catch up with one of the master model builders responsible for designing and installing thousands of Lego models across their theme parks. What this dream job looks like and what Lego fans can expect from the company's out-of-this-world new land, Lego Galaxy, coming up later this hour.
Can't wait for that.
Exactly. And always remember, the plural of Lego
is Lego.
Don't make that mistake. All right, let's begin this hour with the latest on the search for Nancy Guthrie. The mother of our NBC News colleague, Savannah Guthrie, has been missing now for 2.5 weeks. After DNA analysis from a glove that was found 2 miles from Nancy's home failed to turn up a match, the Pima County Sheriff's Department tells NBC News they're focused on other leads, including a different DNA source.
It comes as we're learning more about the technology and the tactics authorities are using to try to find her. NBC News correspondent Liz Kreutz sat down with the sheriff yesterday, and she joins us once again from Tucson. Liz, good morning. Well, hey there. Good morning. Well, today does mark day 18 of the search for Nancy Guthrie. The sheriff tells us with thousands of tips pouring in, this case is nowhere near going cold. And he says as investigators now zero in on that DNA found at the home, they're turning to genetic genealogy to try to figure out who it belongs to.
This morning, the Pima County Sheriff says DNA found at Nancy Guthrie's property could belong to the suspect behind her disappearance.
We believe that we may have some DNA there that may be our suspect, but we won't know that until that DNA is separated, sorted out. To me, that's more critical than any glove I found 2 miles away.
Sheriff Chris Nanos says DNA analysis of that glove came up empty, no hits in the FBI database, and no match with what was found at the property. But investigators are pursuing a number of other potential angles, including what the sheriff describes as the suspect's unique-looking gun holster and new details seen in the surveillance video from Nancy's front door, like this. A ring appears to be showing through the suspect's glove.
Have you noticed that the suspect may have a ring on, like something that looks like a class ring?
I look at the same photo you look at, and I see it. I see people have circled and said, yeah, I'm going to give that to my team. They'll look at that.
As the search continues, the sheriff saying he believes the suspect had a target in mind.
I think this was an individual who had a target for whatever reason, and he has made it tough. But I've got some pretty tough investigators, too.
It's now been more than a week since authorities released that doorbell camera video. Sheriff Nanos says Google is still working on retrieving additional footage from other Nest cameras on Nancy's property, though it's a complicated process, adding that several other private companies, including Meta and Apple, have offered help.
I think a lot of that is Today Show. You know, you're in everybody's family. So they look at this and look at Savannah and go, this is us.
As the community continues to rally in support, outside our affiliate, KVOA, tributes growing on the banner, which reads, "Bring her home."
We're also learning more about how investigators are canvassing gun stores. One local gun shop owner tells NBC News that investigators showed up with a list of about 24 names and photos. The sheriff didn't confirm that list, but he did say that they're showing a picture of that unique gun holster the suspect was wearing, trying to see if anyone can recognize or remember someone who may have bought it. Back to you.
All right, Liz Kreutz, thank you so much, Liz.
NBC News national law enforcement and intelligence correspondent Tom Winter is here with more on where things stand. So, Tom, we're midway through week 3 of this investigation. Walk us through where we stand right now.
Well, you know, no surprise to anybody that was watching us on Monday morning about the glove. You know, we raised skepticism about that right away. It was found approximately 2 miles from the scene. There's no hit in the FBI's managed DNA system. Only about 7% of the population is in that, and that's probably a good thing because it's people that have been arrested or convicted of serious crimes. So we can rule that out as a match there. It's not matched to the house. That was our biggest question all along. And so they're going to process now some DNA at the house. Unfortunately, it's mixed. So there's multiple types of DNA that are mixed together. They've got to try to separate those, and then they might go down a path that I think a lot of people might be familiar with in the Brian Kohberger case. And he was at the University of Idaho, convicted of the killings there. They did genealogy to try to draw kind of closer. But remember, that took about 6 weeks. They've got to then, you know, in that case, they actually grabbed the trash from the family to try to compare. So that process takes a while. Still, I think the best lead is going to be this doorbell camera, specifically the backpack that was bought at Walmart. They're looking at dozens of stores. Walmart has tons of cameras. They have a lot of data on their customers. That's going to be critical. That canvas of the gun shop, you know, that gun holster is not necessarily unusual, but the look of it is unusual, and hopefully that could be a clue, too.
So let's talk about what are the unanswered questions and I guess the investigative leads that authorities are looking at here.
Yeah, so, you know, the leads here going forward and some of the unanswered questions that I have is, one, are there multiple people that are involved here? We see this person approaching the camera. We don't see ever a car behind him. We've talked about that before. So are we to believe this person with that huge backpack filled to the brim, as you can clearly see, takes Nancy Guthrie out of the house by themselves, walks in through the rear of the house, out the front, to some sort of car that's positioned farther away and takes her out all by himself? So I think that's going to be a key question here going forward. And then the rest of his outfit, you know, that could have been purchased at Walmart, too. That's one of the things that they're looking into. I think that could be critical. I mean, let's hope this person bought all 3 things, the mask, the jacket, and the backpack at Walmart. That could be very helpful, too. But it takes time.
All in all, just put this in context for us. It's day 18, no suspects, lots of leads, but no theory of a motive, at least that we know of right now. Is that unusual in a case like this?
Well, on the motive front, there are a lot of investigators that say you solve the motive, you'll find the person who did the crime. That's been a bit of a challenge so far in this case. We'll see if that approach could possibly work. But taking a step back here, we are so used to, whether it's a 9 or 10 episode series on streaming, whether it's 1 hour of primetime television, having the crime, the investigation, the arrest, the conviction, all buttoned up and put together. That's not how it works in the real world. So you got to think about all the people that have bought this type of backpack at a Walmart, or all the people that could be involved as a potential suspect in this investigation, and then to kind of narrow in on that and conduct an investigation in that person once you say, everything kind of lines up here. It's a challenge. So, I think the fact that we didn't hear something in the initial couple of days kind of started to inform us that we could be here for a while. And unfortunately, that's just so difficult for our colleague because they want answers.
Of course, we all do. All right, Tom Winter, appreciate your reporting. Thank you.
You got it. Sure thing.
All right, in Los Angeles, Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg is set to take the stand today in the landmark trial on social media addiction. Meta and YouTube are the two media giants being accused of making their platforms addictive to children, leading to serious mental health issues. NBC News senior legal correspondent Laura Jarrett has the latest. Laura, good morning.
Hey guys, this is not Zuckerberg's first time under the spotlight. He's faced plenty of scrutiny about his platforms in the past, but this is the first time the stakes have been quite this high. The first time he's had to sit in front of a jury and defend the way his company operates with his empire on the line.
Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg expected in a Los Angeles courtroom today as the tech giant seeks to fend off a massive lawsuit filed by families who say Zuckerberg and others have created a generation of kids hooked on social media.
I want the truth about what's happening.
Zuckerberg likely to face a grilling over what steps his companies have taken to protect children and teens. Users like the California woman at the center of this landmark trial, who says she developed anxiety and depression and engaged in self-harm after she started using Instagram and other apps at 10 years old. Her attorney accusing Meta, which owns Instagram, of intentionally building the platform to operate like a digital casino.
Mark is famous for his slogan, go fast and break things. And he needs to be held accountable for what's been broken.
Parents of other users gathering outside the courthouse in prayer Tuesday, growing emotional at times.
My 15-year-old said basically.
Several determined to face Zuckerberg in person.
I just would love accountability.
The tech CEO, no stranger to criticism. His companies have fallen short when it comes to keeping kids safe. Grilled on Capitol Hill 2 years ago.
Your product is a disaster for teenagers.
Senator,
and yet
that's
you
not
keep
true.
right on doing what you're doing. Right?
That's not true. That's not true.
At one point turning to face grieving parents, holding the photos of children they've lost. But Meta has fiercely denied they should face any liability in this case, a spokesperson saying the evidence will show she faced many significant, difficult challenges well before she ever used social media. Instagram boss Adam Mosseri also forced to take the stand, telling the jury last week, "I believe it is our responsibility to keep people safe," pointing to certain safeguards the company has added over time, like a feature that sends nudges reminding teens to log off at night.
Zuckerberg's testimony is expected to last all day, and then YouTube CEO is expected to also testify in the coming weeks. Back to you guys.
All right, for more on this, we are joined on set by NBC News legal analyst Misty Maris. Misty, good morning. Look, I mean, parents have always noticed that rage engages, when they see this with their kids. But legally speaking, online safety has been an issue for years. This is the first of more than 1,500 lawsuits here to actually go to trial. Could this set a new precedent to holding social media companies actually legally responsible for this?
It certainly can. And this is what we call a bellwether case, meaning it's a tester for how these other cases are going to play out. So historically, social media platforms have been shielded from liability under a federal law 230, which says you can't be held liable for the content that third parties post. But this is a different legal theory. treating these platforms as more of a product. So it's that the way that these are designed, the infinite scrolling features, these are created and intentionally addictive, leading to this harm. So it's a very unique legal theory. We could see a lot more cases depending on how this one comes out.
We heard from Instagram CEO Adam Mosseri defending his platform last week. He said, quote, "It's important to differentiate between clinical addiction and problematic use." So if you're the plaintiff here, what do you need to do to prove these claims that the platforms are addictive and harmful to children? We often talk about the cigarette comparison, but this is also different from cigarettes.
Definitely. So it's a little bit different, and it's a challenge for the plaintiffs on the causation aspect, so that the way that these platforms are designed actually caused the harm. So there's going to have to be a link back to what she alleges, which is significant mental health issues, to the way that these platforms are actually used and how she particularly used them. That causation hurdle is a bit different in this case than when you're talking about cigarettes, where there's a really clear medical diagnosis about the impact of smoking for a certain period of time and what that can happen, lung cancer, versus mental health issues. And what we've already seen being laid out in the opening statements is that what the defense is going to do is point to other things that happened in her life that could have also caused this type of harm in order to break that causal chain.
So this will be the first time Mark Zuckerberg actually testifies, right, about safety claims before a jury. That's a big difference. What should we expect from his testimony today, and how critical it for the rest of the trial?
Yeah, so he's testified before Congress, but not facing cross-examination like he will during his testimony today. And, he's going to be hostile. So what we can expect, he's going to be confronted with a lot of internal documents relating to the way that his platforms have been made, the types of features that were designed. On the flip side, what you're going to hear when his attorneys get a crack at him is laying out what safety features do exist, age limits, what was done because there was consideration that this could cause harm, but there are safety guardrails that are built into these apps that are up for parents to implement and control. So we're going to see both sides of the coin here. It's going to be a full day, and it's going to be really consequential to this case and many others.
All right, Misty Maris, thank you so much. Can't wait for that.
Wild weather on the West Coast is creating major problems this morning. Officials say the race is on to save a group of skiers buried in an avalanche in California. All this as firefighters are battling several wildfires in Oklahoma and Kansas. NBC News national correspondent Morgan Chesky is following it all of us from the mountains of Nevada County. Morgan, good morning.
Yeah, Joe, good morning. And we're not far from where this incredible search and rescue mission remains ongoing. Overnight crews were able to reach 6 of those skiers trapped inside that avalanche. However, 9 still remain unaccounted for. Conditions incredibly treacherous here, with storms dropping feet of snow in this area in just mere days. And this system is just one of several wreaking absolute havoc across the West.
This morning, a massive winter storm causing whiteout conditions out west. An urgent search and rescue operation underway in the Sierra after a terrifying avalanche buried multiple backcountry skiers.
Reported as 9 to 10 people buried, 3 others attempting to dig them out.
Overnight, first responders rescuing 6 people stranded on the mountain, but they're still searching for 9 more still missing. The sheriff telling NBC News the group included tour guides and skiers heading out on their last day of a trip.
This was a very well-prepared group. They just came across a very tragic incident.
Wild weather causing chaos across the country, from snow to flames. In Oklahoma, raging wildfires forcing thousands to evacuate their homes. Emergency crews working round the clock to put out the fires that have already burned more than 15,000 acres. The flames also closing roads, racing across state lines. Roads also treacherous from the winter storms further west. In Colorado, a multi-vehicle pileup left 4 people dead and dozens more hospitalized.
Look at that.
After severe wind-blown dust impacted visibility. Blizzard-like conditions causing cars and semi-trucks to spin out, closing down nearly 150 miles of freeways on the West Coast.
The wind was blowing sideways, so you couldn't see like 25 feet past in front of your car.
And regarding those 6 skiers that were rescued, authorities say that 2 are being treated in a nearby hospital. There is still a surge of personnel headed to that area where the 9 remain unaccounted for. We know that conditions as far as avalanches are concerned, the risk not as high as it was yesterday, but authorities stress that because so much snow has fallen in such a short time, that risk still remains incredibly dangerous here. The governor of California, meanwhile, saying that he will send an all-hands-on-deck approach in order to help with this ongoing rescue. Joe.
All right, Morgan, thank you.
All right, time now for a check on your Morning News Now weather. The West Coast isn't out of the woods yet. NBC meteorologist Melissa McGee is tracking another round of rain and snow on the way. Melissa, good morning.
And good morning, everyone. That West Coast storm does continue. So a lot of that beneficial snow moving out across areas in the Great Basin and the Rockies. California gets a bit of a break today with just a few scattered showers across the region. But a new surge of energy is going to move in as we head out on our Thursday. So rain and snow will blast California once again tomorrow. Localized flooding is a big concern, making travel fairly difficult across that area. In terms of rainfall amounts up and down the coast, we could find an additional 1/4 inch to about an inch of rainfall across the region. Now, as we move across the highest elevation, we can find an additional 4 to 8 feet of snow for areas across the Sierra Mountain Range. So we'll keep you posted with that. The storm system riding across the northern tier, umbrellas and shovels, that's what you're going to need today as the stationary front continues to move on through, making for slippery spots from Minnesota all the way over into Massachusetts. So let's talk about the snowfall that will be on the way across portions of the northern Great Lakes. You can see the purple here. That's an indication of snowfall amounts up to 8 inches, little less as we move across areas in upstate New York and central sections of New England. Another day with record highs across much of the plains in the southeast. Dallas today, mild for many and at 77 degrees for you. St. Louis and at 71 degrees. Jet stream builds all the way up to the north, allowing for that warmth to work its way into much of the southeast. Atlanta is 77 degrees tomorrow. We've got 68 in Roanoke, Virginia. We'll start to cool off, though, across the Ohio Valley and the Northeast. Check out Cleveland for the start of your weekend. You'll have a high temperature of 41, but you'll dip down to 29. Back to work next Monday. And for the Northeast, Saturday, we'll start it out at 46 degrees, down to 39 on Sunday. And on Monday, that high temperature, just 36. That's a look at your national weather. Now back to you.
All right, Melissa, thank you so much. Much more to come here on Morning News Now. Later this hour, takeover talks. Warner Brothers reopening takeover talks with Paramount Skydance. What this could mean for the media companies and the streaming giant, whose deal is still on the table.
Up first, going for gold. It's a big week for Team USA's men's and women's hockey teams. We've got the games to watch next.
We are back now with the latest out of the 2026 Winter Olympic Games, where this morning Michaela Schifrin posted an impressive showing on her first run down the slalom.
And the U.S. men's hockey team getting ready for quarterfinal matchup against Sweden later today.
NBC News international correspondent Claudia Lavanga is in Milan and joins us now with more. Good morning, Claudia. I want to start with the women's figure skating individual competition. While they all qualified to move on to the next round, it wasn't the showing they hoped for. What can you tell us?
Hey, Christine. Well, it was a bit of a hit and miss for the Blade Angels yesterday. Now, first of all, the best of the three was Alyssa Liu, who finished third, placing her in a very good position ahead of the Thursday's free skate. Of course, the score of both events will define the medal winners. Now, that makes her a good contestant for a medal, the first medal in the event for a U.S. team, a figure skater, in 20 years, and hopefully a gold medal for the first time in 24 years. Also, a great showing for Isabeau Levito. Now, she finished 8th, but the Italian audience loved it. I was there in the audience, and, you know, they loved that, especially because it was a tribute to, not only because she was great, it was also a tribute to an icon here, Sophia Loren, and perhaps a tribute to her own roots. Her mother is not only Italian, she's actually from here, from Milan. Bit of a disappointment, though, from Amber Glenn, who stumbled. She failed to finish a triple loop. That made her lose a lot of points, and in the end, she finished 13, leaving the ice skate. in tears, guys.
Yeah, it was heartbreaking to watch Amber there yesterday, but we're all pulling for her with the free skate coming up here. Let's talk about Michaela Schifrin on the slalom slopes this morning. Solid first run. We remember how tough Beijing was for her 4 years ago. Could this maybe end her Olympic medal drought?
Well, definitely, Joe. I mean, she has not won any medals here in the last two events. She's not won any medals in Beijing. But she's got a real shot here, because early this morning, in the first run of the slalom, she was first, and now she's about to come down. The second run started about 20 minutes ago, and she's probably 2 skiers away from hoping to get that medal back on her neck, guys.
And Claudia, both the men and women's curling teams will face Great Britain today. What are you expecting?
Well, early this morning, the women's curling team lost to Great Britain. That means that now they need to win against Switzerland tomorrow to hope to qualify for the semi-finals. While the men's team are facing Great Britain now. The game started about 10 minutes ago. They need to win this game and hope that Italy and Norway lose both of their games if they want to qualify for the semifinals. So we'll be watching that, guys.
And Claudia, let's talk about the men's hockey quarterfinals. The Team USA taking on Sweden. Both teams, of course, made up of NHL players. So this should be an intense match. What are we looking for here?
Well, it's been pretty smooth sailing for the men's hockey team until now. They won every match, but this is going to be a particularly tough quarterfinals because, as you mentioned, a lot of them are teammates in the NHL, and now they're going to face each other, so the quality is going to be high, and we'll be watching. That's at 3 p.m. Eastern, guys.
Coming up, a big stinking problem.
The nation's capital could be facing one of the worst environmental disasters ever after hundreds of millions of gallons of waste leaked into the Potomac River. The massive cleanup effort underway next.
We're back now with a closer look at what's making news in the world of politics this morning, starting with the latest on Kilmar Abrego Garcia's immigration case.
NBC political reporter Megan Leibowitz joins us now with the details. Hi there.
Hey, Joe and Christine, good morning. Yeah, let's start off with a new development in a high-profile immigration case. A federal judge ruled that ICE cannot detain Kilmar Abrego Garcia again because a 90-day detention period ran out and the government doesn't have a solid plan to deport him. Remember, Abrego Garcia first made headlines when he was mistakenly deported to El Salvador. Since his return to the U.S., his legal team pushed back against the administration's proposals to deport him to various third countries. Next, let's go to an elections bill that's making its way through Congress. If passed, the SAVE Act would require photo ID to vote, plus proof of citizenship in order to register to vote. Now the bill topped 50 votes in the Senate, but the 60-vote filibuster rule still stands in the way of it becoming law. Now, there doesn't seem to be enough support to get rid of the filibuster, so Democrats can still effectively block the bill. Finally, tributes for Jesse Jackson poured in yesterday from top political figures, including President Trump. President Trump said that Jackson was a good man with lots of personality, grit, and street smarts. President Biden said that history would remember him as a man of God and of the people. The Obamas also reflected on Jackson's presidential runs in 1984 and 1988, saying that those campaigns basically laid the foundation for President Obama's campaign. And that's a look at what's making news in politics this morning, guys.
All right, Megan, thank you.
All right, staying in Washington, the nation's capital facing one of the largest environmental disasters to ever happen in the United States. And it's creating a stink between the federal and local government, with President Donald Trump and Maryland Governor Wes Moore pointing the finger at each other in the fallout. NBC's Tom Costello has the details.
The river George Washington called the nation's river is off limits and contaminated after a 60-year-old sewage line in Maryland broke open last month, spewing more than 240 million gallons of raw waste into the river, the same river that flows past the Kennedy Center and the Lincoln Memorial and used by boaters, kayakers, high school and college rowing teams.
So you can see some of the toilet paper and the sewage up on the banks there.
Riverkeeper Dean Nalyokes says the stench and environmental damage are staggering, with E. coli levels more than 10,000 times above EPA quality standards at the time of the spill. While slowly coming down, health experts warn no one should be boating, fishing, or even touching the Potomac. Is drinking water at all affected here?
No, from day one, drinking water has never been impacted by this.
But massive boulders that collapsed into the 6-foot-wide pipe are delaying the repairs. Meanwhile, President Trump has blamed Maryland's Democratic Governor Wes Moore for gross mismanagement, while Moore fired back, saying the pipe was federally built and regulated, and the Trump EPA has been slow to respond. The fear now, the Potomac may not be safe for months.
You used to swim right here?
I've swam right here.
Would you swim in here again?
Not for a while.
DC Water expects to have the immediate repair job done by mid-March, but overhauling the entire 60-year-old line, that could take up to 9 months. Back to you.
All right, Tom Costello, thank you. Coming up, Hollywood bidding battle.
Paramount Skydance getting another chance to make its case for Warner Brothers Discovery after receiving a temporary waiver from Netflix. We'll talk about where these takeover talks stand next.
All right, welcome back. We're following a high-stakes Hollywood bidding war this morning. Warner Brothers Discovery is reopening takeover talks with Paramount Skydance after getting a temporary waiver from Netflix. Back in December, Warner agreed to a $72 billion all-cash deal with that streaming giant.
Paramount has been pushing for months, even launching a hostile bid, now has 1 week to try and sweeten its offer. In a statement, Warner's board said in part, "We continue to recommend and remain fully committed to our transaction with Netflix." On CNBC Tuesday, Netflix's co-CEO Ted Sarandos pushed back, saying his company has the stronger deal.
What we're certain is that the Netflix deal to acquire these assets is the best deal, generates the best value for their shareholders, and they think so too. That's why they recommended the deal and why they reiterated recommending that deal post this. So give them 7 days to put their money where their mouth is.
So a bit of a Wall Street drama with some real household names. For more on this, Investopedia editor-in-chief Caleb Silver joins us now. Caleb, good morning. Thanks for being here. We just heard Ted Sarandos say that he believes the Netflix deal is a better deal than Paramount, but he also accused Paramount of flooding the zone with confusion and going directly to shareholders. Listen to what he said.
Paramount had been making a ton of noise, flooding the zone with confusion for shareholders, so they don't really understand the deal. And including floating all these hypothetical offers into and talking directly to the shareholders and bypassing the Warner Brothers Discovery board.
So why reopen talks now? Is there a chance that Paramount could sway this?
Yeah, absolutely. Money talks. This is the drama inside the drama inside the drama, and what's at stake are incredible film studios, a lot of intellectual property, and really the future of the streaming business in general. So when you say they announced a hostile tender offer, how can those two things be the same? A hostile offer is when a company comes out of nowhere and says, we want to buy your company and this is the price. A tender offer means we want to buy all of the shares. So in fact, Paramount, backed by Larry Ellison and a lot of debt and Skydance, wants to pay all cash and debt for this company at a higher price.
The whole company,
The whole company that
right.
Netflix originally asked. And remember that Netflix doesn't want the whole of Warner Brothers. It wants the intellectual property, the studios, the Top Guns, the Mission Impossibles. It wants all of that for its library. What Paramount has done is offered a couple of what we call kickers. They call it a ticking fee. So if the deal stretches on, they will continue to pay on a monthly basis for the deal to be negotiated, and a $2.8 billion breakup fee if Netflix and Warner Brothers breaks that deal up, they'll pay that fee. So they're offering sweeteners and they're talking to shareholders directly to try to get this over the top.
I want to explain this whole company thing to our viewers a little bit more so people understand. Paramount wants it all. That includes cable assets like CNN and Discovery, whereas Netflix basically just wants sort of the studio. Those are two very different futures for this company,
Absolutely.
right? I mean, explain that to us. Kind of that could take things down very different directions.
Right. Well, Paramount wants the entirety of Warner Brothers Discovery, and that includes CNN. That includes a lot of the other TV networks that it has. Also TNT, right? Includes all of that and a lot of the home channels as well. So it wants all of it, whereas Netflix is very focused on just the movie studios, because the movie studios property from Paramount, remember, Paramount was created in 1912. It's got an amazing library of content. Netflix just wants content, as much content as possible in its library. It doesn't want to run TV studios, doesn't want a news division. It's getting more into sports. There might be some synergy there, but it doesn't want all of it. So the Paramount bid is for the entire company. Again, it came out of nowhere, unsolicited or hostile, and there's a chance that it may get accepted. These companies have until February 23rd, Paramount, to keep sweetening its bid. That's a few days from now. But the ultimate day you want to focus on is March 20th. That's when shareholders vote on which deal they're going to take.
So it's interesting because Netflix, it just wants the movie stuff, and I think HBO too. I think maybe they want HBO because they would stream the HBO stuff. But then then Discovery would spin off all these other assets, household names like TNT and CNN. So you're right. It's a very, very different kind of future for this company. Netflix has a deal signed and the right to match any offer. Paramount really coming in here floating at $31 a share. So this countdown is on about what the board at Warner Brothers finally thinks is best for its shareholders.
Right. And the one thing that they're thinking about a lot is how much debt it's going to take once you combine these two companies. If Paramount is successful with this hostile bid, then this company will have a ton of debt. Paramount has a lot of debt on its books, and so does Warner Brothers Discovery. Yeah. That's something shareholders have to consider very carefully. Do they want this asset to come together, and then they own this massive network now, but that is under a ton of debt in an industry that is under pressure? So it's a very interesting dynamic happening within these studios.
Yeah, it's changing a little bit, the industry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I don't know what it means for my streaming, my bill every month.
Probably going to go up no matter what.
Yeah, well, that's a safe assumption.
Safe bet. Caleb Silver, Investopedia, thanks so much for being here.
All right, to more financial headlines now. Bayer is proposing a large sum to settle major lawsuits.
NBC News business and economy reporter Ali Canal has your Money Minute this morning. Good morning, Ali.
Good morning, Christine. And that's right. Bayer says it will pay up to $7.25 billion to settle tens of thousands of current and future lawsuits claiming that its Roundup weed killer caused cancer. Now, the company, which acquired Roundup in 2018, says the proposed settlement would create a long-term claims program with funding for up to 21 years. It is a costly outcome, but analysts say that it significantly reduces the company's legal risk. Meanwhile, a shareholder showdown at AT&T. 4 New York City pension funds are suing after the company refused to let investors vote on a proposal to disclose its workforce demographics, which include breakdowns of gender, race, and ethnicity. Now, the funds saying that AT&T used a new SEC policy as cover, but that shareholders do have the right to vote on this type of transparency request. The development comes as many companies back away from DEI policies under pressure from the Trump administration. NBC News has reached out to AT&T for comment. And in the space race, Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin says it will move heaven and earth to get to the moon before Elon Musk's SpaceX. CEO David Limp told Bloomberg that the company is pausing its space tourism flights for at least 2 years. The reason? To shift resources toward NASA's Artemis lunar program. Now, NASA has said it will move forward with whichever lander it receives first. So that basically means Blue Origin and SpaceX are in a full-on race to be the first to get NASA back to the moon. And guys, that means we probably won't see Katy Perry up in space again anytime soon, but maybe some astronauts.
Yeah. Which is probably the best.
Probably a good thing.
But good for Katie. Glad she got to go. Thanks,
She's a wonderful
Allie.
singer.
Yeah.
All right, and continuing our coverage of the Milan Cortina Winter Olympics, the U.S. men's pursuit speed skating team clinched silver Tuesday night.
The Americans were seen as the favorites. The Italians, though, pulled off an upset, beating Team USA by 4.5 seconds yesterday to win the gold.
All right, this morning we would like to welcome Emery Lehman. He is a member of that U.S. men's pursuit speed skating team. He joins us now from Milan. All right, good morning. Welcome. Your team has now won 2 Olympic medals, and 2 of you set a world record during the first event of the World Cup this year. What do you think makes you guys so successful?
Oh, man, I think we just got that American spirit. We work as a team. We work together. I think a lot of other teams go out there as individuals, and we really go out there and work together. And I think that's what sets us apart from some of the other teams that go out there.
This was your 4th Olympics. What's changed since Sochi in 2014 and now?
Man, well, I'm a whole lot older now. But I also think in Sochi, I was a little bit more of a participant at the games, happy to be there, just kind of wide-eyed, bushy tail, just looking at everything and having a looking up to all my teammates that were winning medals, and things have kind of changed over the last two where, hopefully I'm that teammate for some of the younger guys on the team, and we're bringing home some of the medals.
You grew up, I'm told, in Chicago playing hockey. Is that what got you from hockey? How did you get to speed skating?
Oh man, that was thanks to my Jewish mother, who wanted to push my brother and I to go into every sport possible. So once I started hockey, it was you got to get faster and you got to put on bigger blades and tighter skin suit.
Mom is at the core of all success.
We
I'm
noticed.
convinced.
Exactly. It's like you're already on the ice. Try this out too while you're there.
Exactly.
You've recently said this is going to be your last Olympics. Talk about that decision and just how you're feeling with that in mind right now.
Yeah, it's a really weird feeling, but I think it's definitely time. I'm closing in on 30, which for speed skating world is getting kind of old, and my times are still getting faster, but the results are not quite there. So I think that's speed skating telling me it's time for me to kind of move on, and I'm very okay with that decision. I think a couple Olympic medals and 4 Olympic teams, a couple world records. It's been a fantastic ride, and I wouldn't change anything about it.
Not too shabby. And I know you are also an accomplished lacrosse player. It's returning to the Olympics for the first time in 120 years at the LA Games in 2028, the Summer Games. Any thought to switching sports?
Oh man, I don't think my ankle joints could handle that, but I'll be watching closely.
All right, Emery Lehman, congratulations. Thanks so much.
Thank you guys. Thanks for having me.
And some breaking Olympic news. Michaela Schifrin, we are told, has just won the gold medal for the women's slalom event. She came in with an overall time that was 1.5 seconds quicker than Camille Rast of Switzerland, who took silver. This is Schifrin's 4th Olympic medal. You can catch all of the best Olympic action on Primetime in Milan, hosted by Mike Tirico, starting at 8 p.m. Eastern on NBC, streaming on Peacock.
Redemption for Michaela Schifrin. It's great. All right, coming up, lifting off to the Lego Galaxy.
Lego is launching a brand new land in 2 states with a whopping price tag. We're catching up with one of the company's master model builders whose skills with the small plastic bricks help bring the parks to life. Next.
All right, we end this hour with one small brick for builders, one giant leap for Legoland Resorts. Lego theme parks in California and Florida are launching a brand new land called Lego Galaxy. It's going to feature the resort's first indoor roller coaster. Of course, they call it the Galactic Coaster, and immersive experiences like a junior astronaut training zone.
Merlin Entertainment owns Legoland Parks. This new Lego Galaxy is the company's biggest ever single in-park investment in history, topping $90 million. These parks wouldn't be possible, of course, without the skill and honestly, outright artistry of Lego's master model builders. These builders are responsible for designing and installing more than 100,000 Lego models across the U.S. theme parks.
All right, we are so excited to have one of those master model builders, Ryan Wood, in studio with us. Ryan, good to have you with us. So we're going to get to the Legoland in a moment, also whatever is looming here behind, underneath this curtain. But first, we just have to talk about you, because you have the coolest job. You've been doing this, building these since, 2009 for Lego. How do you even get into this?
So just like you guys, I started off as a Lego fan. It was a hobby. I entered a contest to become a master model builder, won that contest with a few other folks at Legoland, California, 2009, almost 17 years ago.
Wow.
Amazing. Okay, we have some of your creations here. So first of all, how do you do this? How long does something, oh my goodness. How long does something like this take?
So some small models can take about 8 hours. Each master builder assembles every single model one Lego piece at a time. There's no special tricks, and they're all glued when they go on display in the park. But yeah, me and my team at 3 different Legoland parks across this country. I've worked at California, Legoland New York, and Legoland Florida. And our teams build and repair all these models that you and our guests can see.
And they are glued at the park.
They are glued,
That's a big debate among real Lego connoisseurs.
And
we don't glue at home.
Okay. In Lego movie parlance, we craggle them.
Craggle. Wow, I like that. I like that. So, do you, we all follow a guide. Do you follow a guide, or are you just, freestyling here as you develop things?
Sometimes I wish we did, but that's where our imagination comes into play. Sometimes we get to freestyle. Other times sometimes we use our computer software tools to assemble those pieces, but we have no books.
All right.
No books of instructions.
Let's talk about Lego Galaxy. It opens at Legoland Florida Resort next week, then the California Resort on March 6th. What can people expect with that?
Well, we are so excited about Lego Galaxy and Galacticoaster, and for me, it's sort of a full circle culmination event. I've had many of which in my 17 years career. So the launch coaster indoors, first in the U.S. For the Legoland parks, top speed of 40 miles an hour, and on that ride, guests will get to digitally create their own custom spacecraft, which they will then see on the coaster experience.
So you would have to, wait, did I read you'd have to like ride every day for 2 years to get the same seat?
That's right. There are more than 625 unique combinations that your spacecraft can take.
That's amazing. Oh, say, aside from that, what else are you most excited about?
I'm excited for guests to see all the Lego Space Easter eggs throughout our land. It's an intergenerational toy, right? So Lego Space started in the 70s, and they're still being made today across all the Lego themes. So a fan like me and my 4 kids will all pick out something different in that land that they love and appreciate.
Is there something that you love to do when you're creating freestyling or whatever? I mean, what is your favorite thing to make?
So my portfolio, when I tried out for this job originally, was spaceships. So coming back to this now, almost 17 years later, is just a mind-blowing experience for me.
When you did that contest years ago that you won, is that what you made, a spaceship, or how do you wow the Lego people?
So I came in with a portfolio of space and wanted to show that I had other abilities also. I ended up making what was sort of an Egyptian-inspired dune scene with a giant tidal wave, sort of movie-inspired, while we open a new attraction at California called Dune Raiders. So I tried to tie it into what their new land was.
Amazing. All right, so we know that you have a special surprise for Joe under the black tarp, under the cloth,
yes.
on the easel. What could this possibly... Wait a minute, let me get the microphone. What could this possibly be?
So I have been staring at Joe's face for a few days now.
I'm sorry.
Working on a custom creation for today.
Oh my goodness.
Look at that bright white
I've gotten
smile.
very familiar with his features as I've assembled this out of me and my team built this over the last couple of days for this event.
That is incredible. That is extraordinary. I'm sorry you've had to stare at me for that long.
What a good-looking man. You are a good-looking man.
I'm better in Lego, probably. I think that's like the better takeaway there. That is so how long does something like this take? How do you even begin to approach
So it took me a couple days to do the design, basically painting every single piece individually. We have some tools that can generate mosaics, but I wanted to take a little bit more time with this. And then my master builders and I assembled this quickly in time for this visit today. But just like us when we were fans growing up, we were looking for junior Galaxy Explorer kids who build just like that, build at home, build spaceships like this. And we found 8 winners across the country that someday might be master builders like us.
What do you think is the allure? I mean, the allure of Lego. Like, kids are always, well, and
it's as
grown-ups.
popular as ever right now.
I mean, look, someone just gave me a bouquet of flowers that were Lego. You know, it is just so popular and it endures. Why?
I think it's because when kids ask, what can I build with Lego? We say you can literally build anything, whether it's the flowers you speak to, whether it's spaceships, whether it's mosaics of Joe. You can do anything with it. The only block is your imagination. So you just have to open up your mind and build whatever you think of.
You can build a Joe and make it look way better than I look in real life.
I mean, you have the best job in the world, right?
I count my lucky stars every day.
I mean, you have the best job and you have the best job in the world.
This is special. Thank you so much, Ryan. We really appreciate
Thank you guys.
it.
It's really nice to see you. Thank you so much.
That is going to do it for this hour of Morning News Now.
The news continues right now.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.